They don't come at you with knives. They come with questions, soft, harmless, coated in concern. But behind them lies precision, psychological warfare dressed as curiosity. They make you explain yourself, justify your emotions, doubt your own eyes. That's how deception works. Not through lies, but through frames. Frames that twist your reality until you can't tell where truth ends and manipulation begins. And here's the most terrifying part. The smartest liars never tell a lie outright. They let you build it for them. They plant a seed of doubt and watch you water it with your own trust. You've seen it before. That subtle shift in a conversation, when you start to feel guilty for noticing something wrong. You begin to second-guess your instincts. Maybe you are overreacting. Maybe they're right. Maybe you misread everything. But deep down, something ancient whispers, no. You know when something doesn't feel pure. You sense the distortion. That tension in your chest isn't paranoia. It's awareness fighting for survival. Liars don't just steal truth. They rewrite it, using language as a weapon, empathy as bait, and questions as blades. The moment you answer them, you're already entangled. That's why most people never see it coming, because manipulation often sounds like understanding. But not you, not anymore. In this video, we'll uncover 5 questions liars use to manipulate you. How they twist perception, control emotion, and make you doubt what you know. By the end, you won't just recognize deception, you'll see through it. Stay till the end, because question 5 exposes the most dangerous trap of all, the one that makes you betray yourself. Question number 1. Why would I lie? It sounds innocent, rational. A question that pretends to invite truth, but its real purpose is to bury it. Why would I lie? It's not a question. It's a challenge, a psychological move designed to flip the burden of proof. So suddenly, you're the one on trial. You know the moment it happens, you confront them about something that doesn't add up, a text, a story, a contradiction, and instead of answering, they look you dead in the eye, wounded and offended, and whisper, "Why would I lie to you?" You freeze, because on the surface it's logical. Why would they? You start replaying everything, doubting your instincts, rewriting reality in their favor. They stand calm, collected. The liar always does, while your truth drowns under the weight of your own empathy. But the Stoics warned us, emotion blinds judgment. When you want to believe someone, reason becomes a slave to desire. You stop seeking truth, you seek comfort. And that's exactly where deception wins. Why would I lie? Works because it forces your mind into defense. You start explaining why you think they're lying, which gives them time to twist, deflect, or gaslight you into silence. They're not proving innocence. They're making you prove guilt. Understand this. When someone asks, "Why would I lie?" you don't answer the question. You observe the motive, because truth doesn't need theater. It stands naked, unafraid. The liar, however, always hides behind logic. The moment someone makes you justify your perception, stop explaining. Step back. Truth doesn't beg to be believed. It simply is. Question number 2. Don't you trust me? That question isn't meant to build trust. It's meant to control it. Don't you trust me? 5 words sharpened into a blade that cuts straight through your doubt. It sounds emotional, intimate, almost moral. But underneath the softness lies accusation, the kind that turns your integrity into guilt. Picture it. You hesitate before agreeing to something, a story that doesn't quite align, a request that feels off, a secret they want you to keep. And then they hit you with it. Don't you trust me? The silence after those words isn't peace. It's pressure. Because now, if you question them, you're the one destroying the bond. They've trapped you between 2 losses, your self-respect or their approval. And most people choose the latter. Because deep down, you don't want to seem paranoid, or cold, or unloving. You tell yourself that trust means loyalty, but the Stoics would disagree. To them, trust without reason is slavery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." But the liar reverses this. They demand belief before proof. They weaponize your virtue, your empathy, your goodness, and use it against you. "Don't you trust me?" is not a question. It's a trap disguised as affection. And every time you fall for it, you reinforce the illusion that your silence equals loyalty. Real trust is earned through consistency, not coerced through guilt. So the next time someone asks, "Don't you trust me?" look not at their words, but at their patterns. Because the honest don't need to ask for trust. They embody it. Question number 3. Are you calling me a liar? This is not a question. It's an ambush. A sudden, calculated explosion designed to corner you emotionally. So you retreat, apologize, and abandon the truth that was about to surface. Are you calling me a liar? It's the liar's favorite line because it forces you into defense. Now you're no longer discussing facts, you're managing their feelings. And in that emotional smoke, the truth quietly disappears. Imagine it. You confront someone with evidence, a contradiction, a missing detail, a lie that finally shows its cracks. And before you can even finish, they raise their voice, their eyes widen, and they act offended. Suddenly, they're the victim, and you, the aggressor. They flip the power dynamic in an instant, and you find yourself saying the very words that destroy your stance. No, I'm not calling you a liar. That's the trap. You soften, they dominate. You seek peace, they gain control. In psychology, this is known as defensive projection, the guilty redirecting the accusation to make themselves appear righteous. It's an emotional judo move that uses your own conscience against you. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus wrote, "The greater the truth, the greater the resistance." And resistance always reveals what the liar fears most: exposure. When someone says, "Are you calling me a liar?" they're not protecting honesty, they're protecting image. Because truth doesn't flinch when confronted, it stands still. When someone becomes overly offended by accountability, don't retreat, observe. A wise mind doesn't argue with defensiveness, it watches it burn itself out. Because only the false need to shout to appear true. Question number 4. Why are you overreacting? This question is pure venom, sugar-coated in calm. It's not meant to soothe you. It's meant to silence you. Why are you overreacting? It's the liar's way of saying, your perception is invalid. Your emotions are inconvenient. Your truth doesn't matter. And in that moment, you shrink. You begin doubting not what you saw, but what you felt. You replay the scene, your voice, your tone, wondering if maybe you did overreact. That's how manipulation works, not by force, but by erosion. Picture this. You confront them after catching the lie. The tone changes, their mask slips. You finally speak your truth with fire, and then they say it, calmly. Why are you overreacting? Suddenly they're composed, logical, and you, emotional, unstable. The script has flipped. The truth is buried under a performance of serenity. This tactic is psychological warfare. It's called gaslighting, the systematic rewriting of your emotional reality to keep you obedient. And the Stoics would warn, he who controls your perception controls your peace. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." But the liar makes your imagination their battlefield. They want you to question your own senses, because a person who doubts themselves will obey anyone who sounds confident. Why are you overreacting? Translation: why are you waking up? Why are you breaking free from my illusion? Don't defend your emotions to those who caused them. Your reaction is not the crime. Their deceit is. When they accuse you of overreacting, that's your confirmation. You've hit a nerve. And the moment you stop doubting your perception, their power dies. Question 5. Can't you just let it go? This is the liar's final line of defense, the soft dagger wrapped in emotional fatigue. When every excuse collapses, when every mask starts to crack, they turn to exhaustion as a weapon. Can't you just let it go? It sounds peaceful. mature. But underneath, it's a plea for escape. Not from pain, but from accountability. You've seen it before. You bring up what happened. The betrayal, the lie, the pattern you can no longer ignore. And suddenly, they sigh. Their voice trembles just enough to make you feel guilty. They talk about how they're tired of the drama, how you keep bringing up the past, how you never move on. And in that moment, you feel it. The weight of their weariness pressing against your conscience. Because now if you continue, you're the villain, the one who can't forgive, who can't let go. But make no mistake, this is not peace. It's a psychological retreat. They want the comfort of forgiveness without the burden of change. They're not asking for healing. They're demanding silence. The Stoics warned about this illusion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not be overheard complaining, not even to yourself." But he wasn't talking about submission. He was speaking of mastery, knowing when to rise above what's beneath you. Letting go in Stoicism means freeing yourself from attachment, not freeing the liar from consequence. So when someone says, "Can't you just let it go?" ask yourself, are they seeking peace or protection from truth? You can forgive and still remember. You can move on without pretending it never happened. Because letting go isn't about them. It is about reclaiming your mind from the weight of their deception. Conclusion. The Fortress of Discernment. The world is full of masks, smiles that hide motives, words that conceal weapons, promises wrapped around control. But you're not meant to wander blind through the theater of deception. You're meant to see each of these questions. Why would I lie? Don't you trust me? Are you calling me a liar? Why are you overreacting? Can't you just let it go? They all serve one purpose, to make you doubt your reality, because doubt is the leash of manipulation. Once they control your perception, they control your mind. But awareness, that's your liberation. The Stoics called it prohairesis, the inner faculty that chooses perception over illusion, principle over persuasion. When you learn to pause before reacting, when you begin to observe rather than absorb, you break the spell. Liars lose their power not when you expose them, but when you stop needing their truth. Understand this. You are not cold for protecting your boundaries. You are not cruel for asking questions. You are not heartless for refusing to be deceived. Discernment is not cynicism. It's clarity. It's the armor of those who have seen too much and still choose to remain awake. And that awareness is your fortress. A quiet, unshakable strength the liar cannot enter. Because when you know how deception works, every manipulative question becomes a confession. So stand tall in that silence. Let their words reveal themselves. Truth doesn't shout, it endures. If this message cut through the noise, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Timeless Stoic Mind. This is where strong minds sharpen and illusions die.